Smart 24, driving business.
A very good morning, and thank you very much for sticking around to Smart Means Business. This particular morning and this particular hour is when we head into our conversations or our discussions in the Business Insight. And this time around, it's a very huge topic, one that you definitely want to be part of, or something that you would wish to understand more fully in regards to business and marketing. This is none other than digital marketing, so we're going to be discussing very huge conversations rotating around the same matter of digital marketing, how you can enhance digital marketing in your business to at least lift the profits within the same space. I'm Joram Paul Sonko, and of course you're watching Smart Means Business. But before we dive into our conversations this morning, remember that the show is proudly brought to you by by the Zabu platform. So *292# is the USSD code that you can use to kickstart off your investment. Zabu is powered by Altex East Africa, which does remind you to do something new always. Now with Zabu, a platform that is definitely there to kickstart off your day, all you need to do is to invest in government bonds with just a minimum of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. And with Zabu, you only need to register with your national identification number. Then after registration, you'll be able to invest in the next 24 hours. The markets are open from Monday to Friday, only fully closed during the weekends and public holidays. So that is Zabu for you as you kickstart off your investment journey. And now we're heading into our Business Insight, and joining me this morning to talk matters enhancing digital marketing in business, I have John Birungi, who is the General Manager at Hedge Marketing Limited. A very good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right. And for the viewers out there, as we talk digital marketing, this is something that we normally have conversations here on the show regarding what businesses need to do to grow or expand. And we talk about marketing, which marketing goes along the way. It may be mainstream, digital, or any other form of marketing. Looking at digital marketing in this context, what does it mean?
Well, digital marketing is basically any form of marketing that you're taking that is online, that is either on the internet or on the mobile phone. You know, you've just talked about Zabu that's on USSD. That can also be a form of digital marketing, because in marketing we always try to get people to drive them to a specific point. So a point to sell, for example, can be USSD code. So that's also just one of the forms. The most basic form of digital marketing is good old SMS. We have about 30 million or 31 million phones as of January this year, and only of those, only about 12 million are online. So 30 million SIM cards and 12 million online means there's a huge disparity. So majority of people are still offline with, you know, Katoch, those feature phones. So those feature phones, you can still target them through SMS and USSD. That's also a form of digital marketing.
Okay, digital marketing. So the key word here has been the internet space.
Yes.
So that means the mere fact that you have the access to internet, you can at least kickstart off your digital marketing career, I should say.
Yes.
But looking at the use of the internet, for a couple of times, should we consider adverts that run on the internet as digital ads?
Yes, they are digital ads. So the most basic is obviously social media ads.
Okay.
Those are the ones that have been most used. But the other ads, you know, we have the good old Google ads. I think you see those ads on YouTube before you watch a video. We have ads on websites. So if somebody has a popular website, they can put ads there. It can be direct buy, where you buy, you give the person an image and they put on their site.
Yes.
Or we can use, you know, other platforms like Google Ads. There are different platforms that help you to place ads on sites like that. So there are different ways of doing marketing, digital marketing, other than just social media. So it can be on websites, it can be on that. Another form that ideally should be digital is the digital billboards, you know, those TVs. Ideally that is part of digital marketing, but locally we still run it a bit analog. So you give someone a video, they plug it into the screen. But it's supposed to be a part of the experience, the digital experience as well.
Okay. Speaking of digital marketing, and I've come to realize that you as Hedge Marketing Limited are into digital marketing.
Yes.
Let me first get it from you as someone who is actively into digital marketing. How do you guys get clients? How do the clients come to you? And then what are the products you normally offer?
Well, the thing is, you have to look at the need of the client. The most important need for digital marketing is to be able to reach a customer with a message. Okay. So you be able to reach a customer with a message, or at the very least, be able to direct a customer to the point where they can buy. Either where they can buy or where you can make their life easier. Right now, there are more complex ways that we use. For example, if you have existing customers, I can actually help to upsell them. If someone has been buying, you know, let's say 5 liters of petrol, how do you get them to also buy oil? How do you get them to also buy your other products? So those are some of the things that we're looking at, where you help to shape a customer beyond just buying your product, but also, you know, upsell them to buy additional products as well.
Okay. And as we continue with our conversations, we always have a marketeer and a marketer in business, really. So where's the difference between a marketeer and a marketer in the digital space?
Well, it's just an issue of English, really. Ideally, your marketer is somebody who actually develops a plan and executes that plan to get you somewhere. Your marketeer is an example of someone on the street with 2 slippers, slapping them and telling you, you know, vitano. That's a marketeer. Okay. So we distinguish ourselves and call ourselves marketers. We are not just making noise. We're actually using a really thought through plan to actually get you from point A to point B, both as a business but also for your customers.
You see, there's a big difference with digital marketing and the mainstream kind of marketing we're used to here in Uganda, for say. Maybe other countries have already quickly adopted. My other question would rotate around, really, what are the unique, you know, points or selling points that digital marketing presents than the other old style of marketing?
Yeah. For starters, the cost. Digital marketing, you pay as you use. Okay, you can pay for $5, $3, even $1, and that's how much. So it's not cast in stone that you must pay 5 million. I mean, for example, if I'm paying for an ad on a channel like S24, if I don't have 5 million, I'm not going to say you give me 1 second. It is maximum 15 seconds. So that's one thing that you can pay per use on digital, but also at the same time, digital is still one of the cheapest ways or most cost-effective ways for you to advertise. If you're to look at, for example, you know, your billboards, your radio, your TV, your newspapers, you know, digital channels are still cheaper for you to reach 1,000 people. However, we also have to be very, very conversant that the fact that, you know, 80% of internet users are in Greater Kampala district. Greater Kampala. That's Kampala, Mukono, Wakiso district. So if 80% of them are there, then if you need to broadcast nationwide, then maybe you need to think of TV and radio. If you're just looking for customers within that area, then it still works because 50% of our GDP is in those 3 districts still. So it still reaches, you know, people who can buy. The thing is, if you need national reach, then you need to augment it with something else. That's now where in marketing we talk about integrated marketing communications, where you have a message going out on TV, it's on radio, it's on the internet or social media, it's also on different channels. There are people in trucks and all that coming to you. So for companies that can afford it, you can do that integrated marketing communications where you have many channels, okay? But for smaller businesses, maybe you want to do 1 or 2 channels. Again, depending on who you're targeting. It's very important for you to know who you're targeting, because then you understand very clearly which channel to use. And even on social media, for example, or rather on digital, for example, not every channel targets the right people. You have LinkedIn that is very, if I may say, corporate.
So true.
You're looking at your corporate people in your office people, LinkedIn. If you're looking for Montwawansi, maybe you want to try TikTok, but it's also a very young channel. You're not going to find 35-year-olds there. Facebook used to be a very good channel. It was very democratic across board, but the government ban has, made it lose about 40%.
It has really affected.
Yeah, so about 40% of users have dropped off because of the government ban. So that now means that businesses have to get creative in where they're targeting.
All right, looking at social media, the rise of social media in Uganda, it has actually got us to a point where we have social media influencers rising every other day. And the issue here is most of them identify as digital marketeers or marketers at large. You will find someone is bio on let's say Instagram or Twitter, identifying as a digital marketer. I want us to understand, is a social media influencer a digital marketer? And if they want to be one, what do they need to do to be recognized as digital marketers?
Well, the thing is, many social media influencers have actually learned how to reach people. Okay. That's the most important thing, reaching people. It doesn't necessarily make them digital marketers. Okay. The problem with digital marketing is it's very limited in terms of formal courses here in Uganda.
Okay.
If you look even outside Uganda right now, there are just a few universities worldwide that are doing bachelor's or master's degrees in digital marketing. Here, for example, if you want to do a formal course, the best that you're going to get is the Chartered Institute of Marketing, which is either at UMI or at Datamine. And that's still a pretty expensive course. But, however, there are lots of online courses that are either free or at least affordable. And these online courses, someone can actually go through and learn how to do it professionally. Some of us have done it the hard way through trial and error over years. So we've, that experience is plus also studying online.
Yes.
You still have to study online regardless of whether you're doing it, whether you're already in the trenches doing it or not. So there are ways to professionalize and then certify. And I think that is now where, if you're looking to employ someone, you need to look at, do they have certifications? Do they actually have real world experience? Because if you don't have experience, at the very least, go online and do these free courses and show that you know the knowledge, that you have the knowledge. The alternative is for someone to do formal courses like CAIM and all these other courses that are out there. Unfortunately, we don't have digital marketing as a professional course in university. I think the closest might be MOOCs, but arms like Uganda Marketing Society, which I'm a member of, are helping in pushing that direction, because we have a partnership with MOOCs where we go and give these students real life experience.
Well, does digital marketing have timelines per se when you're supposed to deliver to your client, or it's something that can be done and dusted the day a client comes in? Because it's the internet.
Yes. So the thing is, it's all back to the plan. What are you planning to do? Because I'll give an example. I always said digital marketing is like having a dairy farm.
Oh.
Okay. So if I have a dairy farm, my end goal is milk.
True.
Okay, so my end goal is to have milk. So I can choose to go to the market and buy cows and immediately have results. Okay, or I can choose to have my cows and let them grow slowly and slowly by slowly. Okay, depends on the strategy I need to get there. So if you have the money to advertise and do all this, you get the results instantly.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't have the money, then you need time to grow that as well.
Okay, when you look at digital marketing and other traditional marketing, strategies that have been in place that are actually still ongoing here in Uganda because of the comfortability they bring to the client. At least they have choices to choose which they feel is better. When you look at them, which one has a higher advantage when it comes to the outreach of people?
In terms of what do you mean higher advantage?
Like,
channels?
High advantage when it comes to reaching out to the target audience.
Which digital marketing versus traditional?
Yeah, versus the traditional.
Well, again, it's who you're targeting. Because right now you have your corporates, your younger corporates, for example, they don't quite listen to, they get all their news online. They get all their news online, so they don't exactly watch TV anymore. They don't exactly listen to radio, maybe when they're at drive time. So if you're targeting those people, then digital might be an excellent channel. Okay. If you're targeting the older generation who regularly and religiously watch news, for example, then maybe you want to advertise in that time. Again, depends on who you're targeting and which channel you're using. So you basically have to look at the best channel for each person. Okay. I always subscribe having a mix. Okay. Not putting all your eggs in one basket. So you have to use both ways, eh? Yes, where possible, use both ways. But again, by understanding your target audience. The target audience is the most important thing. Once you understand their mannerisms and where they get their news, where they share information, once you understand that critically, then you'll know which channel, even on social media, you'll know which social media platform to use. Okay. If you don't understand that, then you're just shooting without aiming. Okay. There's also another concern here. Which practices can a digital marketing firm, or let's say digital marketer, use? Those to-do list things that they're supposed to, the must-dos for anyone in regards to the to what they need to follow to successfully pull out in digital marketing or to push a brand. For starters, digital marketing is very measurable. Okay. So you must be able to show results in a measurable way. Okay. So there are key things that you have to do. One, you should be able to measure. One, you should have specific goals. Your goals should be measurable. Your goals should be attainable. Don't shoot for. Don't shoot something that cannot be found. I'll give you an example. We have 600,000 people on Twitter. Don't tell your client that you're going to get them 1 million followers, 1 million Ugandans as followers. That's not attainable. Okay. Then your goal must be relevant, meaning that, for example, if I'm looking to sell, let's say if I'm looking to sell bras, the people that I should be looking to is to sell to women. True. Okay. I always say if you have a social media channel that is selling bras and majority of them are men, you're not going to sell. Even married men don't know their own wives' cup sizes. True. So it has to be relevant. Your target must be relevant. Then lastly, it must be time-based. So we call those SMART goals. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. If your goals, whatever you're trying to chase, is SMART, then you're definitely going to achieve it. Okay, and speaking of these particular techniques, let's look at ethical marketing practices first. A couple of times, some people use deceptive, tactics in order to lure a client to assign to them, or to at least, appeal to the different audiences. But sometimes this is not something that can actually keep you active in the long run. So how do we deal with such circumstances whereby you need to use rightful channels without using deceptive tactics? I know it's part of marketing anyway, but how do we, create some truthfulness with a huge percentage? It's actually not part of marketing to be deceptive. Okay. It's part of marketing to shape someone's thinking. Okay. But being deceptive isn't marketing. It's being plain, being a liar. Period. Okay. The thing is, one, obviously, in terms of standardization, we're trying to standardize the industry. In the advertising sector, there's Uganda Advertisers Association. That is a standard that the advertising sector is putting in place. In terms of marketers, there's Uganda Marketing Society, and they are also standardizing that. So these two associations should ideally tell you who is fake and who is not in terms of hiring. In terms of practices, the thing is, people don't forget. You know, we always have this saying, fool me once. Okay? So people don't forget. If you have those, you know, like online publications that have links, they give you a sensationalist headline, but there's no context or no content that meets the headline. If you keep doing that, people won't forget, and then your effectiveness is going to go down. Unfortunately, there are no laws that are preventing this. There's no proper legal framework for this, so it is still, you know, out there. But the thing is, if you keep doing this, people definitely do report. So some of the channels, once you report, they block they block your access. You know, for example, hotels, if you feed your guests, they block your access to these platforms like hotel.com and all these other things. Social media, they can block your channels. So you need to be as straightforward as possible and not be a mufere, if I can say that.
Okay, let's look at return on investment. Most of the businesses have switched from mainstream to digital because of what they believe is a quick return on investment. I need to understand, is it the numbers that engage on, you know, maybe if at all there is a tweet that has been made, or let's say a Facebook post or a website, and people have actually been on that website, the website visits and all that, is that what determines a quick return on investment, or the active buyers who buy into the idea and get to access your services, or at least buy your goods? I need to understand.
Businesses need to be very clear on what they're actually doing from the get-go.
Okay.
You have to be very clear when you're setting your goals. What is your goal? For starters, your goal might be to be seen and be known. You just started, people don't know you. Your goal to be seen. Don't expect sales if your goal is to be seen. Okay? If your goal is to be seen, then in digital, we measure something called reach, which is the number of people individuals who've actually seen. Okay? Either your ad or your website or something like that. If you want people to visit your website, then there you're looking at click-throughs, so people clicking a link to go to your website. And again, you must have ways of measuring. Okay? So that means having analytics or Google Analytics on your website to measure how many people have actually come from Twitter, from LinkedIn, from your Google ads, from SMS, and that way you must measure. If your goal is sales, then you must have a sales channel for people to go through. So it can be people coming to your shop, because you can do ads showing people a location where your shop is, and they come to your shop. But that means also at your shop, you need to measure where people have come from. You need to ask people where they've come from. It might be sending people to an online platform like there's, Dombolo, there's Jumia. You then need to measure on Jumia how many sales you're getting from all these channels. So you must determine your return on investment before you start your campaign.
Okay. And of course, John, when we do return after the break, I want us to look at how to deal with, the negative complaints that actually come on from the digital, how to minimize, or how to try to, is it conflict management, I should say. Then we also look at some of the key challenges that are within digital marketing that most of the digital marketers face, and then which other tools can the digital marketers use to at least analyze a few things here and there, and also track the performance of their campaigns or what they're actually trying to sell out there. Now, for the viewers out there, we are still discussing enhancing digital marketing in businesses here in the country, and how you can at least ideally understand the entire concept of digital marketing. This is the Business Insight. You're watching Smart 24 TV and you're watching SMB. After the break, we have more conversations coming up. Stick around.
Smart 24, driving business.
These days, our homes are no longer just the places we live. It's where we attend meetings, go to class, keep each other safe, and entertain ourselves. To do this smoothly, you need a reliable internet connection. Buy the MTN WakaNet router, which connects up to 32 devices and gets a free 40 GB data bundle at only 149,000 shillings. Or buy the MTN WakaNet MiFi at only 75,000 shillings and enjoy a free 15 GB bundle to stream, study, work, and play on the go. Visit any MTN service center to buy the MTN WakaNet router or MiFi and enjoy the internet that does amazing things.
Say goodbye to paperwork and travel costs. Now every MTN customer can register to invest in securities anytime and anywhere with Zabu in a few simple steps. Step 1. Dial *292#. Step 2. Select option 1. Register with Zabu. Step 3. Enter your full names. Step 4. Enter your national identification number. Step 5. Enter your national identification card number. In 24 hours, you will receive an SMS confirming your registration. Congratulations, you are now ready to invest. Smart 24, driving business.
Well, it's good to have you back here as we return with our last part of the conversation this morning. But before we dive into the last part of the conversation, remember to kickstart off your investment with Zabu. Zabu is a platform which is powered by Alltex East Africa, and it does remind you to do something new always. Of course, with something new can you do today? Investing in government bonds and other securities that are available on the Zabu platform. *292# is the USSD code that you need to use to kickstart off your investment. With Zabu, it is as simple as it gets. If you have your 15,000 with you, you can kickstart off your investment. Even more than that, you will be able to invest. You can select a preferred maturity period for the bond from 2 to 3 years, 4, 5, 7 to 8. All that is available on the platform. You can as well invest in other securities that are available on the platform. Zabu markets open at 8:15 a.m. To 3:15 p.m. That is from Monday to Friday, only fully closed over the weekends and on public holidays. Zabu, my money, my future. Well, as we speak digital marketing and enhancing digital marketing in business, I'm still with John Birungi. John Birungi is the General Manager, Henge Marketing Limited. And of course, we are trying to understand the entire concept of digital marketing and what needs to be understood, what you need to do as a digital marketer to break through, and then also what should any client try to think of if you want to break even in regards to a quick return on investment, especially if you are definitely investing in marketing through the digital media platforms. As we return, Mr. Birungi, looking at digital marketing, there's always a very huge, there's always a very huge debate on social media platforms, especially because at least there, people normally give their feedback directly on a given product, whether it's good for them or whether they won't buy it. Or what they feel is rightful for them to at least be considered. Because for a couple of times I've seen most of social media accounts of different brands having to pose questions before they even have to introduce a new brand to the people to see how will people, receive it. They want to feel that reception. At times it's negative or positive, but you can work on it. Let's talk about crisis management in digital marketing. At times, as a digital marketer, you may ideally, advertise a product to the viewers, to anyone who is using the internet space or any social media platform or websites and everything. What happens when people are not able to appreciate this product and they're only throwing negative views or negative comments towards the same? That crisis management, how do you deal with that pressure?
Well, for starters, you need to sit back and analyze what exactly is the cause of all this, okay? I've in my career, I've worked for different companies, and some of them, you put out a very good product, people actually appreciate the product, but they hate the company.
Oh.
Okay? So you find they actually hate the company.
Not
so
the product.
That now becomes a long-term goal of changing mindsets about the company, not the product. They hate the company. So you now have a long-term goal to change mindset about the company. And how do you do that? One, you show what the company is actually doing for employees, what the company is actually doing for the community, how the company is actually impacting their day-to-day lives in a positive way. But that is a long-term thing. In the short term, one, assess where the cause of the issue is. If there are specific people who are causing the headache, try as much as possible to take them aside. So there we go in their inbox and try to engage them and find out what the issue is. Sometimes you find the issue is actually not related to your current post. Okay, it's something totally, they're bringing their anger from something totally different. So you need to understand them, treat them like people, treat them empathetically, and then listen. The next thing obviously is to actually listen and see. What you see as negative might actually be good feedback.
Okay.
So there might be something problematic with your product or service.
Okay.
So it's always a good thing to listen and then see how to act. Now, for bigger companies that have staff in different departments, when something like that arises, it's always important for your public relations person to take over. So when there is a huge backlash online, I always tell people I'm teaching in digital marketing, that is now where public relations professionals come forward. You as a digital marketer need to follow their lead. And that's where we always get things wrong. We think that every PR person is a digital person, every digital person is a PR person. Some of them are talented and can do both. But where you have separate roles, that at that point is where PR is at the forefront. You as a digital marketer shouldn't take over. Okay, so you'll take their lead. Maybe you can also advise on how to go through, but there you take their lead. Entirely because it's within PR that we have things like crisis management, and then you let them lead you in what to do next.
Okay, let's look at the key performance indicators. What is the success rating of a digital marketing, gig or campaign? How do you rate when you look at these KPIs that are normally identified? For a couple of times, at least for those who are actually given gigs or those who are given jobs as marketeers, there's always a standard onto which they measure their success or how good they are in what they do. What are some of those key indicators that are looked at?
Well, for starters, there are different stages in marketing where you're trying to take your customer. From one, awareness,
okay,
to making them a brand advocate. Okay? So in the stage of awareness, when you're trying to get a client to know that, hey, look, we actually have this product we want you to buy. The key performance indicator is what I talked about earlier, reach. You want to know how many people actually saw that my product is available. So there you're looking at reach, number of people who've seen your post. Product. Then the next is consideration, where people are considering, should I buy this? What are the benefits of me buying this product? How do I get the product? There people are asking questions. The key performance indicator is engagement. Now that is people asking questions or sharing what you've posted. Okay. Now the key metric for a business owner at that point is to look at how many people have moved from the social channels to the website where there is more information, but most importantly, where there's a possibility of someone buying. Okay? So now that is now the business impact, people moving to your website.
Okay.
Then the next stage is when people are converting, so buying. So there, the key performance indicator is how many people are moving to the place where they're buying. So how many people are leaving, let's say, social media, going to Jumia? How many people are clicking on the map to see where the shop is? Then how many people are actually going to the shop? We also have something called lead generation, where I give you a form, you fill in that form, then I give the details of that form to the salesperson to follow up. So how many of those leads am I generating for salespeople to then call? Because once you've filled in my form, you're halfway sold. It's not like I'm trying to sell you the product again. I come to you like, you filled in this form. When do I come an appointment? Someone is more receptive to you than me just calling you directly. So how many of those leads am I generating for the sales department to go and close? That is my KPI. Okay. Then the next stage is where you're doing customer service. So you're trying to find out, is someone happy with the product? Have they fully understood the product that they bought? Have they utilized all the full functions of the product or the service? Okay. Then after that, when someone is happy with the product, they now enter the stage of the stage where they're brand ambassador, advocacy. Okay. So now I'm trying to look for feedback to see someone saying nice about the product. I will share that post. Why? Because if people know that person, if people know John Babirukamu, they're probably going to associate to him more than a brand.
Okay.
So if a brand is saying we have the best phone, it's very different from John Babirukamu's followers listening from John saying, I've tried this phone, by far the best I've ever used.
Okay.
So when you have customers who are that happy, you make sure that you always search for their posts and then you share their posts.
Okay.
If MTN, let's say, is to share your post, MTN has 1 million followers. You have, let's say you have 10,000 followers. 1 million is much bigger than 10,000. But that 1 million people are not seeing what MTN is saying, they're seeing what you are saying. So then people who know you and your reputation will believe more and maybe buy from MTN.
Okay. Let's now look at some of the key challenges in digital marketing. Businesses wish to utilize the space really, but of course, just like any other issue, any other business look at of things, there are always some key hindrances as to why certain people choose not to go in for digital marketing. Which are those ones that you believe, and how can we solve them?
Well, for starters, key issue is people don't quite know how effective it is. Even as much as COVID forced us to go online, a lot of people are still ignorant of how extensive it is. That is one. Another key challenge that people are facing, obviously, like I talked about, the fact that it is mostly urban, about 80% of them are in Greater Kampala, and the rest are still within major towns. So it might not reach the full breadth of Ugandans. We only have about 25% of our population who are online. So, the other 75% is difficult to reach. So that's also another key challenge. Another key challenge, obviously, is the lack of certification. The fact that we don't have proper degrees here. How do I employ the right person? That's also another key issue. So for businesses to jump on this, because PR, they are proper PR professionals who are taught in school. Traditional marketing, we go to school and learn traditional marketing. So again, that's now what we're trying to solve. At Hedge Marketing, we're now doing a Hedge Academy so that we can have a professional course where people get certifications. We've come up, the Uganda Marketing Society is doing the same, trying to train people and give them certifications. You have, like I talked about, DataMine and UMI teaching CIM. So as those courses and training platforms come on board, that will definitely also help on that front. Another key issue that we're having, people failing to jump on board, is the very basic issue of payments. Online doesn't. Online channels, you can't pay through mobile money. You can't pay through cash. You have to pay through Visa cards or MasterCard, credit or debit cards. So that's also a huge hindrance for people because not that many people have access. But even those who have access, they're still very skeptical about plugging them into these channels. So that's also a key hindrance, obviously. But the number one hindrance is still ignorance.
Okay.
How do I do it? Who do I hire? That sort of thing.
Okay, let's look at the tools that the client can actually use to monitor. The presence of their product or their service that is actually being marketed by the digital team. Or what tools can a digital team either way use to at least monitor the performance of of their campaigns and other particular gigs that they're actually pushing?
Yeah, so there are a set of tools that are what we call social listening tools. So social listening is one that it gathers all the information on social media someone has said about your brand. So you give it keywords, you give it your brand name and everything, then just gathers all the information and lays it out for you in an orderly manner. So there are tools out there. There's the most powerful of them is called Meltwater. Meltwater is a partner of my company. So that is a bit of a conflict of interest, but it's part of my company. They have the most powerful tool in terms of social listening. So across the internet, not just social media. So if someone mentions you on New Vision's website, it will pick it up. Then there are also tools that you might want to use to schedule your channels, so your social media. I mean, the best time, for example, if you're targeting some of your corporates who get to office early, people who have 8 o'clock meetings, they're not going to be online at 8 or 9 or 10. They might be online at 6 or maybe even 5:30. Now, you might still be asleep, but you can use a platform to schedule for you so that it goes up when those people are online, for you as you're sleeping. So you can even schedule for the whole week. Okay, so there are platforms online that do that for you. Meltwater also does that. There are free channels like TweakDeck. There's one called TweakDeck. It's a free channel. It helps you schedule for Twitter. Facebook has its own internal content management that you can use. So all those different tools help you to schedule your social media posts, and they also help you to have one place where you log in and you can handle the customer care, the comments, the inbox, instead of you constantly going to your inbox for Facebook, for Twitter. So there are those tools that help you put everything in one single window for you to do things easily.
Okay, and of course, as we are now summing up with our conversations and everything, when you look at digital marketing today, by the look of things, where do you see it in the next 5 years, 10, in regards to how it is being received or its reception so far within the Ugandan business world?
Well, for starters, you have to understand who is there and how it has been growing. So digital has been growing by about 1 million, 1 million, 1.2, 1.4 million per year. Okay, so pretty huge growth.
Yes.
But majority of internet users today are under the age of 35. A few years ago, the largest demographic was 18 to 24. Right now, the largest demographic is 25 to 34. So you can see as that large demographic of internet users continues to grow and take over key positions, digital is actually going to become more and more influential because then you can target the CEO of this, the CFO or CMO of this company or something like that. So it's definitely going to be more and more influential. Key thing to note is how government handles it, because government policy right now is more of a threat than of an opportunity.
Okay.
With government bans and everything, how government handles digital is going to be very key. The digital plan for government also was supposed to include things like helping with what we call last mile. So, for example, the telecoms right now are the one handling, the last mile infrastructure to build internet accessibility. So they're the ones who are doing the cabling and whatnot. But ideally, within government's digital plan from the Ministry of ICT, they're not supposed to take that on. So hopefully, if they do take that on, to be much cheaper and to be able to enable more and more people in rural areas to also access. That means that with the larger access, will also, with internet becoming cheaper, access will become larger, and with larger access means to open up the market for more and more people. So things that were currently running through radio will definitely go digital as well. But worldwide, as you see the trend that is going, people are going more and more digital. We're now entering the age of of artificial intelligence, where people are using artificial intelligence to do some of the basic functions we're doing now. So some people's jobs are going to be taken, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you know, that's life. Whenever there's new innovation, companies look to reduce costs.
Okay. And in your parting shots, a little advice to the digital marketers, the do's and don'ts, as we're summing up.
Do's, number one, obviously, you must go online and do some of these courses. So have as many certifications as possible. Please do go online and certify. At the same time, make sure that you're a member of some of these key industry bodies that I talked about, particularly Uganda Marketers Society. There are others like Top Bloggers that can also, for those of you who are bloggers, they help you to advocate for some of the issues that you're going through, but also they help to keep you honest and make sure that you're following by some of the standards that they adhere to. There are also obviously, number one, make sure you have proper profiles. So your online profile must be immaculate. You must have what you can actually do on that profile. Don't put what you can't do. But most importantly as well, ensure you have as many recommendations as possible. When people of note recommend you and put it on your social channels, put it on your internet, or even write for you a recommendation letter, that will go a long way to you know, give people the confidence to actually listen to you. So this is some of the things that we need to do as digital marketers to move forward.
All right. Many thanks for your time, and thank you very much for making time this morning. And I think for the viewers out there, you have definitely been able to at least understand about digital marketing with the conversations we've been having this morning. I've been having John Birungi, who is the General Manager, Hedge Marketing Limited, understanding and looking at how businesses can enhance digital marketing in Uganda. For all of you that have been part of the show from the morning with Andrew and Mercy, it is now time for us to sign out. At 10 o'clock coming up will be Financial Markets with Anthony Sebale as he takes you through the financial market space, the stock performance on both the Uganda Securities Exchange and of course the Nairobi securities in there. But of course, as we continue giving you more details of business, remember to download the Smart Digital app by getting it on the Google Play Store and the iOS. That is for those of you who want to stream Smart 24 TV anywhere, anytime, and also listen to Smart FM and NBS Cordell. From the entire team here, we wish you all the best for the day and good morning.
Smart 24